Hashtag XRP news script, simple English version, midnight. We just got some really big news that I think is going to make all cryptocurrency prices go way up. In this video, I want to tell you about a huge change that just happened that will make billions of dollars come into the crypto world. I also want to talk about something cool happening with Japan and XRP. 020. Hey everyone, a little while ago, the boss of one of Japan's biggest banks said that every single bank would start using XRP in 2025. In this video, I want to show you something really interesting about that. So make sure you watch the whole thing. Like always, when you support this channel, it means a lot to me. 035. Thank you to everyone who clicks the like button on these videos and follows this channel. These two easy things really help me out so much. Also, if you want a good place to buy some XRP, check out my favorite place called Uphold. There's a link below this video. 047. Okay, let's get started. I hope you like what I'm going to tell you. So really quick, something else super exciting happened today. The Ripple SEC court case is officially done forever. Now, both the SEC and Ripple already decided they were ending this case. But today the judge officially said it's completely over. 106, so the Ripple SEC case is now officially finished. We don't have to think about this case anymore. This thing is dead and gone. Ripple and the SEC worked out all their deals. The judge signed the papers, and now we've completely closed this chapter. So this is obviously really good news to see this thing officially closed now. 127. I've been saying for over a year that this case was basically over anyway. But this is the final cherry on top. Throw it in the trash. No more Ripple SEC case updates, which is pretty crazy because it's been quite a thing to follow and study this whole time. But that chapter 1 is now completely closed. 148, the case is done, and there will never be any more court papers filed about the Ripple SEC case ever again. So overall, it was a huge win for Ripple. XRP is not a security. Ripple got a small punishment and has to pay some fines. And other than that, Ripple runs their business like normal. XRP can be sold to big investors in the United States. 207. There are no securities problems. XRP is not a security, and I don't know how this could be a bigger win than that. I'm sure if you asked Ripple in the early days, will you just pay $125 million for XRP to not be a security and for you to run your business cleanly in the United States? They would have said, perfect, let's do that right now. 224, and it looks like that's exactly what they just got. So we get to put this whole thing behind us. And now we know for sure that XRP will never be a security. So this is a huge win for Ripple going forward. Great to see it happen. Huge win for XRP investors because for the rest of the crypto world, we're going to have to see where everything ends up. 243. We have a court order saying XRP is not a security, and so we never have to worry about that part ever again. But now I want to talk about a massive change that I think is going to be really important for the crypto market going forward, and that was a huge policy decision by the Federal Reserve. 301. What the Federal Reserve announced today was super interesting. On this channel, we have been talking for a while about how the Federal Reserve needs to lower interest rates. One of the reasons the Federal Reserve hasn't been able to do that is because they've been having a hard time getting inflation down to their 2% goal. 318. Now, in my opinion, this whole thing is a little silly. In the entire history of the United States, inflation has never stayed at 2%. Inflation goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It never stays at 2%. The whole idea that the Federal Reserve needs to aim for this 2% number is pretty crazy in my opinion. 337. Now, what the Federal Reserve did today is super interesting. They actually got rid of the 2% rule. So the Federal Reserve doesn't have to try to hit 2% anymore. For a while, they couldn't lower interest rates because inflation was still a little bit above 2%, and it was their job to get it to 2% at 356. So they couldn't lower interest rates without getting rid of this rule first. But leave it to the Federal Reserve. Their solution was just to delete the rule. So now they can do whatever they want with interest rates. They can lower interest rates whenever they feel like it. And it looks like the market thinks it's going to happen very soon, probably in September. 411. Now, I've talked about this a few times on the channel, but a lot of companies with billions and trillions of dollars are just keeping all their money in cash because they're getting 5% in money market accounts and probably even more. Basically, what the Federal Reserve is doing is they're going to lower interest rates because they don't have to hit this 2% inflation rule anymore for 28. And what that means is all these people are going to look for new places to put their money. I don't think it's a coincidence that the crypto market is taking this news very well because basically all these people are going to look for risky investments. And with the crypto market getting new rules and all these different big companies getting into crypto, 447, it's just so obvious that a lot of this money is going to flow into the crypto market. So for the longest time, we had the Federal Reserve stuck between a rock and a hard place where they couldn't lower interest rates because inflation wasn't below their rule and they couldn't get it below their rule, 501. But they just took the easy way out by deleting the rule, and now they can lower interest rates as much as they want. We already know that the Federal Reserve has a lot of pressure from President Trump to lower interest rates. We all know what happens when the Federal Reserve does lower interest rates. Markets go up a lot because basically the market gets new money coming into it that wasn't coming in before, 520. And now there's no reason to keep cash sitting around because basically the only way you'll be able to make money is by investing in real things like cryptocurrencies. And there's not going to be any reason for all this money to be sitting on the sidelines. So overall, this is a very, very good thing. Whether or not it's good for long-term inflation in the United States, whether you think it's right that the Federal Reserve should get rid of this rule or wrong that they should get rid of this 545 rule, honestly, I have mixed feelings about it. But overall, for the short term, this is going to be very good for markets, especially the crypto market, and will probably lead to interest rate cuts happening much sooner than people thought. This was a big thing holding the Federal Reserve back, and that has finally been taken away. 605. So it looks like we're going to see the crypto market explode much sooner and much easier than people first thought. We don't have to wait for this other thing to happen anymore. Now it can happen as soon as the Federal Reserve is ready. And if you've seen Trump lately, you would know that he really wants to get these interest rates down very quickly. 625. But we also got another interesting news today. It's been a lot of news today, which is always nice to see. And that is that it looks like SBI Holdings is going to increase their plans to use the XRP ledger. Earlier today, we got an announcement that Ripple and SBI Holdings want to give out Ripple stablecoin Ripple in Japan during the first 3 months of 2026, 647. Now that basically means SBI and Ripple AR. They're working together to make it so banks are connected with the XRP ledger so they'll be able to use Ripple, the stablecoin, for money transactions. Now, a lot of people are going to ask the question, this mean for XRP? Well, basically, it means these big companies will be connecting to the XRP ledger, 710. XRP will be used as the liquid money to move the Ripple token around. So this is a really good thing, and it really just shows that a lot of these crypto networks that are being used as the foundation are being used by lots of people. Ripple is not the foundation. It's a product that goes on top of the foundation that the XRP ledger provides, 731. XRP is really important for that foundation to work. So these banks using Ripple is not a replacement. It's not something better than XRP. Ripple is simply an app that needs XRP on the XRP ledger to work. So this is only a big good thing. It shows that all these plans that have been ready for a very long time were just simply waiting for rules and clear answers, 755. And it looks like those things are starting to move forward now at a speed where we will actually start to see some serious amounts of big companies using crypto. Right now, we're in a very interesting place where I think a lot of big companies are kind of rushing to catch back up. They thought these things were going to take so much longer than they actually did because of the mean regulatory environment in the United States, 816, but I think a lot of them are being surprised by how quickly things are happening right now. Big companies are rushing to build up their crypto systems. And if there's one company that handles big company crypto systems better than anyone, I think it's pretty obvious who that is, and that is Ripple using the digital money XRP. 835. Now, with all that good news, we did see a pretty big bounce back on XRP earlier today. And funny enough, this just proves even more that we were right about the pattern we were watching when yesterday we pointed out that we probably were at a possible bottom point on this XRP chart. Now it's PR. Eddie funny that at the exact same time that happens, we get this huge bounce, 856. But overall, that's a very good sign that confirms this is really just the range we're going to be trading in until XRP breaks out to go higher. Now, I do think XRP will continue moving up and down in this range a little bit longer, maybe until early September when we do get that Federal Reserve interest rate cut, sending XRP much higher, 914. Now, overall, I think these are all really good things happening. We've kind of been in a boring news time recently when there hasn't been a lot of new exciting news coming up, but it looks like that's going to change pretty quickly with a lot of pretty big things happening, not only on the money policy side, but for people actually using these blockchain systems as well. 934. One of the things sort of happening behind the scenes that I'll share with people who've watched until the end of the video is that right now, there are really record amounts of big companies specifically adopting XRP. In my opinion, it seems obvious that most of the big companies are looking for something other than Bitcoin. 951. And the story and the promise of what XRP is delivering seems to really be connecting with a lot of them. One of the things I predicted was that a lot of financial companies who invest large amounts of money are going to look at XRP because of what it can do and find it very easy to build a case around something that actually solves a problem. 1009. And I'll tell you right now, it looks like that is exactly what's happening. And the more Ripple continues to make their name known, the more